there's nothing that I can say that would adequately introduce him without just saying thank you for all that you've done for us. And without further ado, we're going to get Dr. Smalls on the line. How you doing, sir?
I'm very good. I've just spent 5 hours with Dr. Tony Browder, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Dr. Wilson Jeffries, and about 50 more. Well, it's really 75 of us touring the National African American Museum down in Washington, D.C. And the place is just absolutely extraordinary. For whatever faults you can find with it, you're going to find 10,000 reasons to outweigh those faults. You know, it's just fantastic. Our history is just the most marvelous and powerful human advantage there ever was, or ever will be, for that matter. We are a hell of a people, and that's because we're the parent people of the planet. You know. So, how is everything out in Houston?
And I'm not, you know what? I think Afi, let me get her on the line right now because Afi is in Houston. Brother Greg is in Baltimore. I am in Cleveland. And we also have our other guest, Recio Jones, on the line, who is in Atlanta.
And I'm down in Washington, D.C. So we cool. Just let's go. You on, I'm on, we talking. Let's do it.
Well, basically the show was about being a call to action. And what we were trying to discuss is I think it's fair to say that we've tried the same thing over and over and over for years, and we haven't gotten much of a result. And so we're trying to, talking about different ways that we can approach it.
That's not really true.
Okay.
We're one of the most successful ethnic groups in America. And people go, You said, but they kill us and we don't, and nothing happens. Well, kill them back. Things will happen then, I guarantee you.
My man.
You sit around and say somebody killing you, and you waiting for the person to kill you to tell you he's going to give you justice for killing you. That's silly. When the brother stepped out in Dallas and the brother stepped out in Baton Rouge, everything stopped for a few months because they were crying like we were crying. See? And if somebody brings you injustice in an environment that they control, you must give them back injustice because that's the only justice you can mete out.
My brother.
I'm not talking about going to hurt innocent people or good people because they work somewhere or because they have different race. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the specific person that have dealt you the injustice. In order for you to have justice, you must deal him an injustice. That's your justice. Look at history. You will not find anywhere in the world where people stood by and let other people rob them, kill them, and misuse them, and that people came up victorious. The only time you make people stop doing that is when you defend yourself against that. And the only way to defend yourself against that, when he makes you cry, you make him cry.
Yeah. Yep.
Come on, brother. Come on, brother.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Man, I totally agree. Dr. Small, I have a question for you.
It's the price of freedom. Malcolm said the price of freedom is death.
Yeah.
And Dessalines said freedom or death was his cry. You know?
Oh, I love this.
Let's move on we're getting comfortable with death anyway. So if we
can get used to other people visiting death upon us, then I don't know why we're uncomfortable with visiting death upon them. That's logical, it's ethical, immoral, and it's common sense.
So, yeah, it is.
Yes.
Totally. So let me ask you a question. Because I know that you're a world-renowned speaker. What is your age demographic of the message that you're trying to get out there?
Oh, there is no demographic.
Anybody that's willing to listen.
I'm just as responsible as the 14-year-old to take care of this race. This is our race. And see, what we've got to do, the white folk trick us into the youth and the elders. No, we're the same. We got a relationship. We're tied together. We're one. If you take the youth out, I'm dead. If you take the elders out, I'm dead. The only time we exist is when we are locked together as one unit, one system, one organism. All these youth and baby and mid, all this represents the evolution of the elements, just the evolution of the elements that make up the organism called the African race.
That's how the way.
Do you understand that?
I definitely do.
So that
yes,
you
sir.
understand that you're responsible for me, and I understand as youth, you're responsible for me, no matter whether I'm crippled, deaf, dumb, or blind, and I'm responsible for you, whether you're crippled, deaf, dumb, or blind. If you do something that is harmful to the community, I've done that. So it's my responsibility to work with you to stop you from doing that. If I do something that's harmful to the community, you've done that. So you're responsible to work with me to stop me from doing it. We're one organism. And that's how we have to think. We are one organism.
So how long do you work with someone and they are defying what you're trying to get across? How long?
As long as it takes. Because the person who's defying you is your purpose. Your purpose is to help the deaf, blind, and dumb, not the one who can see, talk, and hear.
Yeah.
That's your purpose. And it's hard. It's hard because it be the people sleeping right next to you sometimes. It's hard because it's the people that bore you. It's hard sometimes it's the people you gave birth to. But if we say we're going to walk away from those who defy us and won't listen, then who are we out here to help?
That's right. Come on, brother. You said it. Yes, sir.
Those are the ones we have to give guidance to. So if one way don't work, come another way. If that don't work, come another way. There's 4 major directions, but there's thousands of directions in between each one of those cardinal 4.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is.
You understand?
I definitely do. And to add to that, I think that is something that we could also tap into, because there are some people with more patience than others. And AJ, you back live. But as opposed to us constantly saying, don't, we don't want this person in, we don't want this person in, allow the people with the more patience to deal with them, because they've been gifted with something, that with listening for one, and being able to hold on longer.
Your job is to help the ones that need help, period. Me and you being out here talking to each other and having fun and talking about how smart we are and how much we know about history and politics don't mean a damn thing. We've got to take that knowledge to the ones who think we're crazy, don't want to be no African, ain't trying to learn about no voodoo. We've got to go to them. Say, listen, we could be a healthier community, a healthier neighborhood, a healthier family that's more protective of one another and that's better equipped to provide food, clothing, and shelter for ourselves if take some time and let's try to listen and grow into this information about our history, which is nothing more than the experiences of our ancestry. That's all history is, the experiences of your ancestry. And you simply want to look at what your ancestors did and learn from it, good or bad. Because you can learn from the bad they did and the mistakes they made, and you can learn from the successful good they made. And that's why you study history. Not to say, oh, we were this. No, you study it to learn from it so you don't make the same mistakes again. And so you learn lessons about how to win and how to be victorious. So you learn lessons about what's good for you and what's bad for you. That's why you want to study history. History ain't nothing but examining the minds and the behavior of your ancestors and those who were friends or enemies to your ancestors. So you know who will be a friend or an enemy to you.
That's something we don't do enough, in my opinion, either, is study the enemy.
No.
But make sure you study yourself first.
I agree with that.
See, things we studying the enemy too much these days, and we ain't studying ourselves and ancestors enough.
That's true.
You've got to know who
I don't know if we
study
studying the enemy too much.
From what I
see in my limited experience.
We're studying the enemy, but we don't know. See, if you don't know yourself, how will you recognize who your enemy is, no matter how much you study them?
Come on now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
I agree with that.
That's
I'd have
all
to
of our
agree with
great
that.
leaders. The one thing they brought to us is that you must study your history. Elijah Muhammad, Drew Ali, Malcolm X. And if you listen to Dr. King, he's just as strong in that question as Malcolm is. You know that tape when he says, I'm proud, I'm black and I'm proud. He was trying to make it clear to people, but we don't want to listen to that tape. When he said, get it right, I want to get the words right. When he was talking about reparations. He said, you got to get the wording right. But we got to listen to all. We can't just listen to the speech the Europeans gave us that happened in Washington in '63. He gave about 1,000 other speeches plus. We need to listen to some of them and let the old man teach us. He left here as a young boy at 39, but he's an elder now. He's an ancestor and an elder. And he still teaches us if we listen to him.
Wow. Jeez, man, I just just listening, man, it's just phenomenal. I kind of got caught up a little bit, and I do apologize. It rarely happens, but that is so true.
Well, one of the things that on Saturday, I'm down in D.C. for the Power Talk week. And I was talking to some brothers and sisters today, and they were coming at me, well, I want to get initiated. I want to, and the voodoo this, and the Yoruba this. See, we make simple shit complicated. We got to make simple stuff simple. Life is simple. Life is common sense. I love the bumblebee. You know why? Because if the bumblebee don't pollinate the plants, I can't eat my vegetable. Okay? So I can't get mad with the bumblebee and say, because he's sting, I'm going to kill him. You kill them bees. Then who's going to pollinate the plants so you can get all them vitamins to keep you healthy so you can then do the work you came here to do to repair the universe. When you work on Earth, remember the Earth is just a part of the universe. What your job is down here is to repair what is broken so the divine can be healed, since we all nothing more than aspects of the divine having the human experience.
And fam, do y'all mind if I take a call, or y'all want to wait a couple minutes?
Sure. Let's not be stingy and keep this great essence to ourselves.
And before I get to somebody, I want to make sure, I got to let you know, you got to be brief. We only got the king on for a finite amount of time, and I want to make sure we definitely get all our questions out, too. That being said, I'm going to get to 7823 right quick. What's good, fam? You got a question or a comment?
Hey, peace to the family. Peace to Baba James Smalls, and peace to My Skin is My Sin Radio.
Knowledge in the building. I don't have the gunshots, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's definitely an honor to be able to interface with a clean example in our community. Time honored. Professor Smalls, I wanted to ask you a question from my research and from some of your interviews. I saw that you were the successor, for the Muslim Mosque Incorporated. So I wanted to ask sort of a two-part question. Two things that I observed, that you were the successor and also that you give tours to the continent. So it's kind of like intertwined in regards to how has travel shaped your worldview and also the responsibilities or positions that you held in regards to our liberation, how it shaped your worldview in regards to our liberation and advocating for our liberation.
Well, I know sometimes it's hard to explain because people always ask, like, when did you come into this consciousness? But I was born into this consciousness. And a lot of people are. Now, I was born in a place in South Carolina. It's called Arcadia Plantation.
Yep.
And I was born to people who were both African Native Americans. See, there's black Native Americans, and there is Mongolian Asiatic Native Americans. And the white man had made us think only the Asiatic was native here. But when the Asiatic got here, we had been here for tens of thousands of years. And so I come from partially from that community and from my community who came to Africa. My grandmother, my mother's father, came from Africa. So did her grandmother and her uncle. So I got to know, until I was 3, my great-grandfather who came from Africa. Okay. And he was from the area called Uganda, Rwanda. We don't know. Those places had no names when he left home. But he was a Tutsi man. And so that's the area he was from. And so we know that we're from that area, but we also know where we live. The people who first came there from Congo and Angola. So we know we have the blood of Congo and Angola. And there was a later layer of Igbo and Yoruba. So we know we got the Igbo and the Yoruba and some Mendi from Sierra Leone. But we also have 2 great-grandmother who, both the maternal and maternal on my mother's side, who were Native American from the Chicora Nation. Just as black and nappy-headed as anybody else from Africa.
Yeah.
Okay. And so growing up on that plantation, I lived in a black world with my grandfather, who was the head of our household. My mother and father lived in the house, too. But Mama and Papa, Mama was a traditional priestess. She was a root lady. So I'm a root lady's child, So when you grow up in their house, Papa was also the head of the church. He was the head of the Masonic Lodge, and he was in the Moorish Science Temple. So I grew up under him. So I didn't know anything else except you got to fight for black folks. And you got to not trust white folks. I mean, that was the answer. They didn't say the word white folks. They had some other choice words, But that was how we grew up. And when you grow up in those woods, you got to protect yourself every day. Every day you got to be conscious that some of those people could kill you because that's who they were. And so, like I was telling the youngsters today, my 15th birthday, my 12th birthday, I got a double-barrel shotgun. My 15th birthday, I got a pump 22. My 16th birthday, my gift was a 2-shot Derringer. So if that would kind of clarify some things about consciousness. I saw Malcolm, my mom and dad finally moved up to New York about 1960 to find better paying jobs because they had 11 children. And we stayed home with Mama and Papa. And so I saw Malcolm X on TV, and I called my mother. I'd never seen anybody talk like that. And my mother brought me up to New York in 1963 to meet Malcolm X. And that's how I met him. Because my mother was one of those choir bands, because she was my grandfather's daughter. My mother was just straight up African black. We knew we were African. We were told that in our house. Like I said, my grandmother was a traditional healer, just like her father was, who came from the continent. So that's what I grew out of. And on 2 sides of the family, we come from what you call the Freewood blacks. They use the other word in the old days, the Freewood ends. But we were the Freewood Africans, meaning we were, in the Caribbean, they would call us the Maroons, So we came from those woods. One place was called Beth Village, and one was just called the Freewood. This is up between Myrtle Beach and Georgetown and Conway, South Carolina. And so people still have their own black village. We've got 2 villages that's just us. One's called Simmonsville on Highway 17. You got one white person who lived there because some young idiot in the family sold them a lot. And the other one, a quarter mile up the road, is called Marysville. The street around it is called Smalls Loop, And it's about 150 people there, but that's all family.
Wow.
And then you go up further, you got Parkersville, which is these were places that was maroon villages during slavery that black people still live in. So that's what I come out of. I come out of that community. And in a town like Georgetown, where we were the majority, and when you count the rural area, we didn't get off the street for white people in Georgetown. I want the rest of the black world to know that didn't happen everywhere in America. They tried to reduce us as everywhere in the South. That's not true. And Georgetown wasn't the only place like that. White folks got the hell out of the way from us. Okay? Matter of fact, they used to let the white children out of high school 45 minutes before us, because whoa if we met on those sidewalks.
Wow.
Yeah. They had 45 minutes to get on over to their part of town and make it home. So
wow.
When you grow up in a place like that, You heard of this Congressman Rainey, the first black to get elected to Congress. You know, he was from Georgetown, you know, the same town after the Civil War. You heard about Robert Smalls. He was 60 miles or 70 miles south, but that's my family, you know, who stole the boat from the Confederate folks and became the captain of it with the Union folks. In that area where I'm from, between Sumter and Georgetown, during the Civil War, black folks down there, even though they were enslaved, right, helped thousands of Union soldiers escape from the prison camps in South Carolina, and we created an underground railroad to help them get back to Union lines. Nobody talk about that. That's what I come out of. I come out of those people. I'm them.
Yeah.
And I love it. You know?
Man.
And as I grew and after I started studying history and from Malcolm X's sister and Brother Michaud and Sister Brown, who worked in the African bookstore in New York with Brother Michaud, and then Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark, it just like I thought history just expands your sense of yourself. You know, when you expand your sense of yourself, you begin to realize your responsibilities to your brothers and sisters, because you realize the damage done to them in this war we've been in. There was no transatlantic slave trade. There was a race war declared on us by Europeans, and they captured us and enslaved us in the process. This thing about transatlantic slave trade, no, that didn't exist. Captured Africans who was captured during a war, a race war, and invasions by every European nation took place for over 500 years. It's still going on. And so we have to realize we were, that period in the history they call the slave trade, that was war. And we still at war with the same people.
Yeah.
Now, that, you know, all white folks, there's some white folks I've met in this life who are very decent, good human beings. They're as scared of the other white folks as we are, you know. But most white folks condescend to those who are the brutal elite committing genocide, and they're partnered with them rather than fight against that tyranny. You know, so we have to call them what they are. They've made themselves the enemy by the behavior they've carried on and the actions they've taken.
Yeah.
But but to take them on a battlefield toe-to-toe, one-to-one with weapons, we're not going to win that because he controlled the weapons. When we fought them in Greenwood up in Tulsa in 1921, we won. We kicked their asses. See, nobody talks about this. I was up there with the brothers and sisters in Tulsa a few weeks ago to celebrate our ancestors. I was there 2 years ago, marching in the streets, celebrating Black Wall Street. We won. That's why they dropped the bombs and burned down our town. That's the only way they could win. We had beaten them on the ground, gun for gun.
Mm-hmm.
They do not talk about that,
even
big brother.
Though we ran
not
out
at all.
of ammunition, we took them on in hand-to-hand combat and beat them hands down, and they still had ammunition, and we had ran out. And so that's why they went to the air and dropped the bombs and set that inferno on the whole town. That's how they were able to come out of it as victors.
And they're still doing the same thing now. They're still doing the same thing now.
Yeah,
right.
but the
and so
difference,
what we have to
difference
begin
now.
to do, see, what's important for us is to teach our people their history so we can give them their common sense back. See, they've used fear and tyranny over so many generations to take away our people's sense of self and sense of being in common with one another. And the only way we can do that is to restore the history. You know, history will give you your sense of responsibility back. History allows you to remember when. And when you can remember, you can imagine how to solve your problem.
You know, that's interesting that you brought that up. We created a game show called the Conscious Olympics. And I know it's a shameless plug, too. But it ties into what you're saying about teaching our history. And I think, you know, we're trying to find a way where we can make it enjoyable for people to learn our history. And not only that,
absolutely.
We're giving away a prize.
Any method we could do to teach history to our people Like Dr. Wade Noble said, we suffer from a fractured consciousness and a broken black identity. And so the only way to fix that is to restore their historical memory. And it's not an easy job because he made them fearful, blind. But that's why I was so happy being at that museum today, seeing thousands of black people who had never had a course in black history, who thought we who do this stuff is crazy, in that museum crying, looking baffled, looking bewildered, looking proud, because they suddenly realized, oh, my God, I am somebody. I exist. I have changed this world in enormous ways multiple times under the greatest duress.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that poem by Maya that says, and yet I rise. Despite what you do, history will make you feel. History will make you imagine. History will make you love yourself. And when you learn how to love yourself, you can love your brothers and sisters.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
So I want to ask a question. Because this is a conversation I run into often with people who feel that history is unimportant because they believe that when you walk out your door every day, you're not dealing with history. Now, I don't agree.
Anybody who says that is insane. Ask them if history is so unimportant, why you have to take white history from K to 12, and then you got to take it in college. Okay? If it's unimportant, why is it mandatory throughout the school system, your entire life, you're studying his history? And when you get to college, you've got to take Western civilization, and you've got to take at least one course in either U.S. history or some other history. So give me a break. Those are people who, out of their fear and their damaged minds, will say any foolish thing because they think you can't counter it. And these are the people who either fail most of those history tests, or pass them and have logged in their brain the glories of white supremacy as is model for heroism.
Yes. Yes.
But everywhere in the world, everywhere in the Western world, everywhere in the Chinese, Asian world, you got to know your history. Imagine a squirrel. I used to use this parable years and years ago when I first started lecturing. I was in my 20s. A squirrel, right, and a rabbit is out there hanging out and playing. And the squirrel gets raised by the rabbit. He don't know he's a squirrel. So he's running around on the ground. He don't know he can climb up trees and run and go everywhere and do all the stuff he wants to do. The squirrel thinks he's the squirrel. So some other squirrel sees him one day and comes and says, man, what you doing out there with them rabbits? He said, oh, this is my brother, man. This is my friend. He said, well, you could be friends with him, but that's not your world. And they said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, you got to learn the history of the squirrels. We live in trees. We jump from tree to tree. Our body is light. Our skin is thin. Our pelt is light so that we can fly through the air literally without wings. So one day, this squirrel, he just ignored him. So y'all can't tell me nothing. I don't want to hear nothing but no squirrel history. Well, some hunters came in the forest one day and see this squirrel and this rabbit running around. And when the hunters opened fire, the rabbit ran through the briar bush and into the rabbit hole. But the squirrel tried to do the same thing when he ran. See, the rabbit got thick pelt and thick skin. So the briar bushes don't harm him, don't hurt him. So he was able to get to the briar, get away from the hunters, get in the hole to safety. When the squirrel tried to go and act like a rabbit in a rabbit environment, because the squirrel weren't built for that environment, the briars just hook up his thin skin and his little thin pelt and hung him up there for the hunters to kill. So the hunters had a good squirrel meal. Because the squirrel didn't know his history. Had he known his history, he'd have made it up that tree and out of the way before the hunters would even know he was there. But he didn't know what a squirrel is like, what a squirrel value system was, what a squirrel culture was, what a squirrel behavior should be in danger comes. And so African people, anybody that say they don't know history is injured. Because everything is about history, right? When you open a math book, that's a history book, okay? Because the only way you can work a problem is because somebody has already worked out the problem. The only way you can do a mathematical formula because somebody has already demonstrated and presented that formula. And what you're going to do is study his historical demonstration of the formula so you can learn to do and use the formula. So it's silly, you know. You just have to break it down. It's all silly. You don't know what you're talking about. When you meet a woman or man, the first thing you want to do is know about them, meaning I need to know your history.
Yeah.
I want to build a relationship, you know.
So, King, let me ask you this, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was done. I'm done.
Oh, okay. I was looking at your bio, and you have met or been involved in almost every organization or met with almost every leader. I don't even know how. Jeez. Since
I've had
Malcolm X,
the ancestors and the gods.
Is there a personal moment?
Dr. King, you know,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Rap Brown. So I can call them up. Malcolm X, Dr. King, Rap Brown, Asada Shakur, Zay Shakur, Lamumba Shakur, Tupac Shakur. Go on and on. I knew all of them. Not just met them. I knew them. Dr. King's the only one I met once. Everybody else I knew. I knew Asada. That was my sister. Her husband, Zayd, who got killed on that turnpike, was my best friend. You know, Tupac's mother and father got married in the same bedroom I got married in. Malcolm X's sister's bedroom. You know, so Tupac's grandfather taught me Islam. Imam Shakur, the Elizabeth Mosque. Kwame Ture, Carmichael.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a bad brother right there now.
Yes, he was.
We knew each other. I probably knew Sophie longer than I knew anyone else, you know, because we knew each other in the early days of SNCC. And then after he moved to Africa, made us home in Africa, we would see each other all the time in Ghana. And when he came back home, we kept our relationship. Even when he just found out he was sick and had cancer, I was one of the first persons at Presbyterian Hospital to see him before he went to Cuba to try and get himself healed. Before he left for Guinea, where he passed away, I laid in his sick bed beside him because I didn't want him to get up so we can talk, so he can tell me what me and other men should look for in terms of prostate cancer. And like he said, he waited too late to do anything about it. So we were just like y'all are young people and y'all are friends, and that's the way we were. None of us were famous or we were just fighting for black people. We were just young people just like you, doing the best we could with what we knew. We didn't have the technology you have. We didn't have access to the books and things you have. So we were helping to create those things for your generation.
Yeah.
You know? I knew Matt Stanford, who was the founder of the Rams. I knew Shirley Chisholm. I knew Adam Clayton Powell. I was his bodyguard for a period of time. It's just when you're out here, you're just out here. You know? And I was just blessed. Very blessed, you know. Dr. Clark, Dr. Penn, John Jackson was one of my teachers, you know. I took a course with Chancellor Williams, Leonard Jeffries, Asa Hilliard, Jake Carruthers, Milana Karanga, you know. So when you're out here, you're out here. And the 60s was a beautiful time. You know.
Is there a moment that that's just you are man. Is there a moment that just sticks out above all others? And after you answer that, I'm gonna get to one more call because I just want to make sure that everybody gets the opportunity to dialogue with the greatness that we have on the line right now.
There's a little something you remember about everybody, but remember we were all just young people doing exactly what you're doing. We didn't know how successful we were going to be. Most of us didn't think we were going to live very long because we were pushing so hard against the brutal system. And, of course, we buried a lot of brothers and sisters whose names you didn't get to know, who were greater heroes than some of us who lived. And so we were just trying to fight for freedom. We just wanted our people to be free. We did not want to be slaves and servants to nobody. We didn't know how to go about it, so we were exploring all kinds of ways, trying to figure this thing out, just like you're doing, trying to find the best way to teach, trying to find ways to open business. I always believe in having your business. I had 3 different businesses in Harlem, and now me and comrades, we own a hotel in West Africa. and I own a travel business in Harlem, New York. You have to provide for yourself food, clothing, shelter, safety. That's why we're fighting, to provide food, clothing, shelter, safety for our people and ourselves and our families. In order to do that, though, we realize we got to take control of the economics, take control of the politics, take control of the culture in the geographical areas where we live.
Right.
You see. And how do we do that is becomes a big question. That's when you have to learn about history, and you have to learn about spirituality, and you have to learn about how to build good relationships, and you have to learn how to travel and go to other African nations, Caribbean nations, and see how they're constructing their world coming out of colonialism and slavery to help find ways for us to reconstruct our world. So all those things are part of what we have to do. Now, the one thing I got to tell you, I can't stay on the call as long as I would wish, because we still have to have a meeting downstairs tonight. But
okay, well,
I promise
the show is up in about 20 minutes anyway.
I'm going to try to make that 20, but I got people waiting for me in the lobby. But let's do it. Let me get at least 10 more. Let's take the next caller. And,
okay, we'll do that. I want to make sure that you said you had a travel agency and some other businesses. If we want to support those businesses, can you just give us the names?
Yes. In Ghana, we have a hotel called the Sana Lodge in Cape Coast, Ghana. SANAA Lodge, LODGE. So you can go to sanalodge.com and see us. We've had it for 12 years now. In New York, you can contact African Dreamer Tours. African Dreamer Tours. Yes. And you can contact my website and see some of the other businesses. It's ProfessorSmallAfricanWorld.com. Now, I'm not doing none of these things by myself. I'm working with a bunch of other people. And the hotel, there's 84 of us, you know. And the travel, there's about 7 of us. So I always believe in working together with other African-American and African people and be as collective and as Pan-Africanist as you can be. So Sana Lodge, SANAA, Lodge.com. If you go on a vacation to Ghana, look us up, spend some time with us. We have a swimming pool, conference center. It's a 30-room complex. We have our own parking space. We have cocktail lounge. We have a pool bar. And we're struggling, but we're making it work. We've been in business 12 years, and we're going to keep on being in business. And if you want to travel to Ghana, go to African Dreamer Tours. And, you can reach them through me. Cultural Heritage African Tours, that aspect of it, do the tour packaging. And you can reach me by going to ProfessorSmallAfricanWorld.com.
Phenomenal.
Sometimes
Phenomenal.
And telephone number, but the phone rang all night.
All right. Well, let's get to one more call if we can. I'm gonna get to 7735 right quick. Hold on one second. What's good, fam? You got a question or a comment?
Yeah, peace. I just wanted to say it's very good to have Dr. Smalls alive and well in order to give us the encouragement and show us the structure that can come from education applied with principle, And the brother, what I'm saying, I'm not trying to stroke you or nothing like that, but, it's really good to be able to have other ones that are as peaceful as you. And the question I really wanted to raise was the same problems that you all were having back then, we still arise right now still today. So what advice, outside of economical, what advice would you give us young brothers and sisters that are striving to meet the measure that you all were warring against at the time of your embarking on corrupt system?
One of the things that we had back then, and we were all a part of study groups. We formed study groups in each other's homes. We went from home to home. We picked a book or a document, and we made sure that we were learning about economics, politics, and culture with history at the same time. We believed that everybody should come together and try to create businesses for themselves instead of shopping with the Arabs, shopping with the Chinese, shopping with the Koreans, shopping with the Latinos who don't want to be African, shopping with the white folks. You understand? You spend $1.3 trillion with people who would invest a penny in our community, won't even urinate on us if we're on fire, and we get in $1.3 trillion last year and ask them what's wrong. What's wrong? We gave our money to our enemy voluntarily because we are suffering from a shattered consciousness and a fractured black identity. If we would get and study our history, we'll cure that shattered consciousness, we'll repair the shattered consciousness, and we'll cure the fractured identity. You can't get around learning history, but we should also pool our money on every occasion. Every occasion. You say, well, we don't have the money, brother, to rent a store, to open a supermarket. You don't need that. 10 of you get together and say, we all go and buy grocery every week, right? Let's go together to the wholesale place, the 10 of us, and take that same money, and I bet we'll spend 50% less, buy the grocery wholesale, take it to somebody's house, and divvy it up. And you know what you're going to tell that dude with the corner store that's selling the bad pork and the beer and all that stuff while he's saying salam alaikum? You're going to tell him bye because he's going out of business. He's selling you nothing but sugar on sugar on sugar. Poison on poison and poison. And we going in there, salam alaikum, brother. He don't take that beer to his house. He don't take the pork to his house. He don't take all that sugar poison to his house. And the money he gets from you, he don't invest none of it in your community. So change how we use money. Get together and put together a pool where we put together a pool. But you can't anybody just can't say, I want some money from it. You have to come up with some criteria on how this money gets used. And everybody gets one chance to use it, and that's selected randomly based on need. If somebody have a need, they had a fire, somebody's trying to buy a house, and they need time to put the down payment, we would come up with some kind of method of drawing to see who gets the money. Nobody can get it twice until everybody in the group has gotten it to handle their business. That's just one little thing we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And if we want to say let's open a business, then let's put our money. So we're going to spend 2 years, and we're going to each commit this much money. Even if we got to put it in $10, $20 at a time, in 2 years we can meet our goal each, and then we can go buy that building we want, and then we can open the business we want. But in the meantime, you study bookkeeping. You study accounting. You ain't got to go to the college for this stuff anymore. You can do this stuff online. You understand? You study how to do auditing. You study how to do marketing. And then we come together in our study group, and you talk to us about marketing. You talk to us about auditing. So we get this thing down. So in 2 years, when we open that door, we know what we're doing. And once we know what we're doing, and we learn how to write a good business plan, put together a good marketing scheme, then we can put together a document and share it with the rest of the community. This is about survival.
And salute to you for calling up, too, King.
I want to ask.
Yes, sir.
I just want to.
Let's take as many calls as we can.
Oh, okay. Well, we got one more. I'm sorry, Afi. You want to go ahead? We got one call, but I got Wolf on the line. I got to make sure I get the brother on. But go ahead, Afi. Get your question in if we got time.
You can go ahead. We can get the caller first.
All right. Hold on one second. What's good, bro?
Peace.
Whoa. Peace.
Who that? Reese, it's
we got
Reese,
Dr.
bro. What's
Smalls
up, bro?
on the line. And Recio.
What's up, blood? What's up, big bro? You good, bro? Man, listen, homie, I ain't gonna be long. I come to talk to you for real, King. Listen, homie.
Well, we got Dr. Smalls on the line too. I want to make sure that we get that King his respect too.
Oh yeah, no doubt, much respect, no doubt, no disrespect. But I'm in the middle of something. But listen, homie, when you ready to release that beast, you know what I'm saying?
Oh goodness.
When you ready to release that animal, you already know, man. 300 gangsters in the building. Hit me up ASAP. Don't even do it without me.
Sir.
That's a bet.
But here's how we do. Let me drop a little science in this piece too, right? We know we got the gangsters. I wouldn't know Big John OG, but I had a little bit going on. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I have some arsenic. If you ain't got no arsenic,
a little something.
Okay? You have a little something there. And so we need to say, hey, look, let's figure out, man, how to organize our OGs and our new Gs into societies of secret. Not imitate their secret society because they know how that shit works. Let's study theirs so we can organize our own. Because only then can you handle your business and not get detected. Y'all hear me, right? Y'all got it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, we hear you.
I'm with that.
All right. Okay. Peace and blessings on that.
I'm with that. I'm all for that. So, you ready? Hit my line, B.
Yes, sir.
You already know, man. Peace and love.
All right,
peace and love, bro.
No doubt, man. You already know, Wolf. You know how we get down.
Y'all.
Yeah, salute the Wolf, man.
Hey, brother Joseph.
What's going on, bro?
Hey, man, could I talk to the young blood real quick?
Who's that? The one that called up? Go ahead.
No, the doctor here.
Oh, go ahead. By all means.
Call him. Hey, young blood, let me ask you, what is your name again, sir? I want to make sure I get all your information that I need. What's your name?
Yes. James Small, Professor James Small, or Brother James Small, or just James Small.
Yes, sir. Mr. Small, let me tell you something. You I hear a beast in you, but I also hear a patient one, and
yes, sir,
and a very humble one. Somebody who doesn't have to do a lot of, you've been monotone the whole time you've been talking. But let me tell you something. Your words have been truly fucking powerful, big brother. And when I tell you, man, I aspire to not be so full of piss all the time, because that's what I am. I'm a young brother. I'm just 40 years old. But
yes, sir.
But I feel like I'm 20. You feel me? And
yes,
your words, big brother, they have truly motivated me. I'm not gonna say it altered my course, but it motivated me to look at something.
Let me tell you two things.
Other
things.
Yes, sir.
I used to be in the street with a brother. His name was Sunni Malik. One of the baddest dude out. People say, well, how you can love Sunni? He killed people. Sunni said, I ain't never killed nobody that didn't deserve it. I hate to laugh at that. Right, this is a bad boy. You understand what I'm saying? When I'm saying bad, I'm talking.
Right.
I don't know any other OG that's like this brother. Okay, he was like that. Right.
Right.
But he was also one of Malcolm's bodyguard. And how I met him when I took over the mosque, he came in and says, I'm gonna keep you alive in these streets of Harlem, and he did. And one of the things he always tell me, don't do this just because you love yourself. Love yourself because it's going to allow you to do this, to learn how to love your people. And
that's
so
right.
one day I'm going to leave this body and I'm going. So my one mission that I've known, and thank God I learned it so early, is to love my people because they are myself. When my eyes close and my babies and my grandbabies and my great babies is left back here, my people who loved me, whom I love, will love mine and take care of them. So that's like me being here.
Yes, sir.
You understand? So don't let them take your spirit by making you get too angry with them, because they're not worthy of that much energy. You understand? They're not worth your energy. Take that energy and flip it.
And I use it constructively.
You don't take care of the business. You got to take care of it. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I can smile and do almost anything. You know what I'm saying? Because it needs to be done. You know?
Right.
But you do it because logically the dude stole and he lied and I took the hot knife, the pliers, and held his house, took the hot damn knife on it. And I wasn't upset personally.
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So,
big brother, I will tell you this. What it does, it keeps me going. You know what I mean?
Yes,
when I'm met with I'm defying everything, even the ones that say that we can't do it. I'm saying we can. But basically, this
I'm saying right now, that's a positive quality, because that's part of how you finding how to be alive on the real side. And so you rejecting the poison that kills you. And at the same time, you've got to search for the nutrients that's going to build you. And the nutrients is in your history, in your culture, in your spirituality.
Yes, sir.
And spirituality ain't spookality. A lot of these Negroes talking about spirituality, and they're talking spookality. Spirituality to me is reality.
Yes. Yes.
Reality.
Yes, sir.
So I wish I had more time, but I'll come back on the show again.
Oh, man.
Spend more time.
Oh, please do.
Dr. Jamal, before you go, I just have one question, and I want to personally thank you for coming on. You're one of the largest influences that I have. But I have a question, and it really just helps me out. But I came into the awareness that the point that I'm at and the activism that I do by the likes of you and Dr. Francis Welsing. But I want to know how you feel about people getting higher educational degrees. And I know it's a little unrelated, but it's been a question that I wanted to ask you for a long time, because a lot of our people feel like that we don't need that, and a lot of people do. So I want to know how you feel about higher educational degrees.
Hello?
No, please don't tell me we lost him.
I guess he wasn't feeling how you're learning. Unfortunately.
Well, he's.
I guess
you know what? His call just dropped. Yeah. Okay. So and I just wanted to echo what Afi said. I definitely, if you at some point listen to this again, on behalf of my skin is by saying, it was truly an honor. And I just want to thank you for your wisdom and your time.
I'm going to call him back and ask him.
Yeah, man. Because I remember I've seen a lot of the brothers' work. I've seen a lot of it, but the one that really sticks out to me a lot is he was talking about all the places we were, where black people originated at, from Asia to America. I was just, that we got to get him back on here, man, because the way that he broke it down, man, was just, like he was just like the Michael Jordan, the history or something. I was just amazed just watching, like, what? Like, you doing tricks and all.
I can talk to anybody forever, and I was just like stuck. Hey, but and I would be remiss too, man. I want to truly thank you on behalf of the team, Ricio, for joining us, man, and sticking with us for the whole too, man. That, and you already know, man. And what we talked about, let me know. Don't, and I keep it at that. You already know.
I got you.
Yeah, since we got a little bit of time left, I got to get this question out to Ricio. I got to get it out. I'm surprised I still remember it.
Okay, but wait. Hold that thought. Hold that thought, because we only got 2 minutes left. So before we get into that question, I want to make sure I get this on the official 2 hours. Don't forget about the Conscious Olympics, July 30th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the Elevator Building in Detroit, Michigan. That's 1938 Franklin Street, Suite 110. We have our contestants, Q Butter, Minister Inky, Asanori Bay, and KT the Artist Degree, all competing for $500. We got Break the Foundation, man. And if you have not heard about Break the Foundation, you need to step your listening game up. He will be releasing his CD. Pretty much, Revolution of Exodus, and he's doing his release party with us that day, and it's all hosted by Doggy Diamonds. It's only $5. Make sure you go to www.consciousolympics.yapsity.com. You can get a ticket to be there at live, or you can buy it on the live stream, and some lucky person on the live stream will win one of Afi's a printing of one of her paintings, and if you've seen her work, she is phenomenal. All right, my bad, but I got to get that out there, bro. Go ahead.
Thank you. Oh, wait, can I just add?
Okay.
I just want to add a little piece on to there about the live stream about the Conscious Olympics that I'm actually doing the trophy for it. And I would hope that you allow the person to pick the painting that they would like to have, if that's okay, because I'm open to them being able to pick whichever they want to and go to my website and choose which one they like.
Okay, that works for me.
That's awesome. Did you link on the website? Yeah. Link on the website.
Yep. They're all listed on there. The Tupac one will be up there shortly, but everyone that's up there, anyone they'd like to pick, and it will be a stretched canvas, not a photo print. It will actually be a stretched canvas. I want to make it worthwhile. This is an important event, and, I want to do my part in making sure that we get that information out there and people learn.
What's the website, Afi?
KMLportraits.com, and just go to the prints and reproduction page, and they can see all of them there. So
that's so dope.
Oh,
truly
and
appreciate it too.
Just one more add on to there. Since we just had Dr. Small on in October, I am having a solo art show hosted by Revolutionary Mind Cinema, and Dr. Small will be there. So if you're in the area,
that's dope.
then
salute.
Yeah.
Salute. All right. My bad, AJ. Go ahead, get your question off, brother.
All right, you feel me? You hearing it first in October. Please make sure you check out her showcase as well. It's going to be dope. All right. Basically, make a long story short, Ricio, I see a lot of feedback that you get, man. It's positive. A lot of people are rocking with you.
Yeah.
And so, how do you feel about the title of leader or leadership? Would you classify yourself as one? Would you want to be one if it was forced upon you, or do you stay away from it? How do you feel about taking that step if necessary for the entire group of black people?
Brother, you know what? I'm just gonna speak real with you. That's a really fucked up question to ask. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know how to answer it. Yeah, I mean, real talk.
You know, but not to cut you off. I'm looking at it from my perspective, and I know you're looking at it from yours. But people really rock with you, rally behind you. You don't have to be in certain places for me to hear your name gravitate.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's real. You know, a lot of people
I will tell you. Well, I will say this, and this is for the record. And I'm gonna leave it just like this. I just want these people to leave us alone. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is that I can do to keep this to make this happen, I'll do it. If that makes any sense. Whatever I need to do, I'm saying this for the record. Whatever that needs to happen, in order for this to happen, for them to leave us be, I will do it. And it's nothing to do with no being no leader or nothing like that, bro. This is what my spirit tells me to do. So I have to fucking follow it. I have to. I don't sleep unless I do. If that makes sense. So
no, that makes total sense.
Whatever label people want to slap on it, I put like this. I'm one of them guys that'll be in your fucking face. That's me. I'll be the first to swing. I'll be the first to buck. I'll be the first to do whatever. This is in my spirit, and I don't know anything else to do. So, I don't know, bro. I really can't answer that question, but I hope this made sense. I'm just doing what my spirit tells me to do, and that's the truth, and what I'm led to do, and that's it.
You know, the fact that you can't answer that, I appreciate that, because there are a lot of people they will pop up with an answer to that question. You know, how do you define a leader, or like they'd have such a quick answer to it. And the fact that you don't even think about that, I respect you. Not that I didn't, of course I do, because we're friends also. But makes me respect you so much more, because we're just all out here trying to do the little bit that we can, and I feel like you're one of the ones that you don't just talk it. Your behavior reflects it also at any given moment, every day. You always seem to be consistent, and so I respect that.
Thank you so much, sister. I appreciate that, and it's great that you can see that you recognize that I have a feeling sometimes I don't do enough. You know what I mean?
I'm really serious.
You can only do so much. You can only do so much. You can't save, everybody at the same time. You got to have a couple of areas and focus and do what you can. I think you're doing a phenomenal job. So if you get up a day and you feel like you're not doing enough, there are a bunch of us out here that feel like you're doing more than enough. So just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
That feeling ain't gonna never go away.
I hope it doesn't, bro, because I'm not trying for it to. I don't plan to do anything else but this, for real.
Yeah, that's why I say I know, man. It ain't going away, bro. You'll be enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the end of our show, though, man.
Wow.
And before
because it
hold on one second. Before we wrap it up, man, I want to shout out our team too, Liberation Minded Media. Renee Black show is coming on after hours. Check her out at 9:30. It's the brother who stood up to George Zimmerman with the rundown with Renee. Don't forget Black Eye Stand Radio, Do the Knowledge, and get this Wisdom magazine. Be on the lookout for Revolution and Exodus, the documentary coming from Revolutionary Mind Cinema, man. Shout out to Keith, man, and definitely family. BlackJunction.com. Check out the website for Dr. Smalls and the Knights of Atlanta. And we definitely want to thank both the Kings for coming on, man. Truly appreciate your time and your wisdom. It is always a privilege to listen to such greatness. Did anybody want to say anything before we tune out? Is that even a word, tune out?
Yeah, first of all, I wanted to say thanks for having me. You feel me? That was a proper... No, I'm joking. Great show. Love the energy. Salute to the definitely the legend, Dr. Professor James Smalls for coming on, man.
Yes.
To the brother Reese, salute to him, man. He's in the hole, man. Black to the future, black first. I'm out.
Always.
Peace and prosperity.
Anything? You good?
All right.
Peace and prosperity. That's all I got.
Ricio, anything you want to say?
Black debate. Like the old folks say, black debate in this bitch.
Black debate. Let me add that to the vocabulary.
Hey, don't forget to tune in every Thursday, 7 to 9 Eastern Standard Time. And subscribe to the show so you get the updates and everything, make it a little bit easier. You can plan your day around it. Other than that, man, don't forget the Conscious Olympics, and we out. Y'all have a good one, man. Peace. We love you. See you next week.
Love you, fam.
Peace.
Y'all take care. Talk to you later.